I did not do very well in science at school. And I only found out that I had to say a few words late last night, so I'm the perfect person to see whether science is going to help our people. I've attended a few meetings, some of the science panel meetings, and we've rotated a lot of our iwi members and staff to attend some of these meetings for us. Back home, we've got quite a few projects going on around as well that will hopefully provide a bit more context and support to the National Objectives Framework work, which I understand you'll be hearing about over the next few days in relation to the report card, the Waikato River report card, and the Mahinga Kai project that we're working on. For myself, I suppose the way that we'll be looking at the science work over the next few days is still under the framework of ngā matapono ki te wai. I've travelled around, I've been over to Canada, that was in August, I went to Darwin in November, and I get asked the same questions. How are we going to merge Māori knowledge with, and I don't even like this term, but Western science? And my response is always, why? Why do you want to do that? And it's really just so we can kind of have it all on one big A3, which my understanding is how the ministers like to see their papers. So I say, why do we need to do this? It'll naturally come together. And our exercise over the last few years in the Land and Water Forum, I think, has probably been the biggest testament where iwi have shared our aspirations and our understanding of our natural environment. And we've all in the end said, hey, I think we all want that. And that's where we've got to now. When I look at the science work we're doing here and back home, the biggest, we understand some of the reasons why we're in the current situation we are, and it's all based on experience. It's not based on numbers. It's not, the only numbers that we count are how much whitebait did you get and how much per kilo can you sell it for, and how many eels are you getting and how long did it take you. So a lot of our knowledge around the science is based on the experience, and that's what we've been working with Vera on in certain places around mahinga kai and customary activities. But the ultimate goal when we're dealing with trying to identify what the values, objectives and attributes of the National Objectives Framework and NPS are is really simply this. One of my nannies said to me, the day that you don't have a job, Julian, to clean our awa, that's the day she's well. The day we don't have to give any human intervention to make her better or she can allow herself to look after herself, that's when we've achieved te mana o te wai. And so my push for this group over the next few days is to say, push for something higher, go through the barrier. Te mana o te wai was not about setting a level and getting there, achieving a minimum standard and saying, yes, we've done it, high fives, go and use as much water as you want. Te mana o te wai is exactly what my nanny said. It was around her being able to regenerate herself and us making the best decision that's going to achieve that. Alistair asked me to talk some science words. The only big word I know is cyanobacteria. And I know it stops us from getting our eels. It stops us from getting our eels in. But, you know, we figured a way around that back home. The uncles just lower lakes, leave them in the water for a good 5-7 days. And we seem to be okay. So we'll find a way around until we can get to that position where she can look after herself. So that's my big science word for you, Alistair. But I just want to push the group, you know, that we make decisions that are going to achieve te mana o te wai. Not argue over 1 part per million versus 2 part per million. You know, what's going to best achieve te mana o te wai. And so that's really my push. And that's coming from the guy that lives at the toilet bowl end of the Waikato River. That's where we look at things to say, no whitebait. Actually, that's a lie this year. We had a really good whitebait season. The eels aren't doing too well. I'm getting pictures of orange eels. The kaio, one of our indicators in the water, or the freshwater mussels, is declining. So we see that down home in the day. So that's our kind of area where we need to do our monitoring, the bottom end. So yeah, let's push hard and just, if we can, yeah, break the barrier on these discussions and not fiddle around with little numbers. Kia ora.